Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is an historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant, and we are called to stand on the side of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather here at Arlington Street Church, we acknowledge that we are on the homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations people. I'm so happy to be here with all of you this morning. I want to offer my warmest welcome to our Zoomers and to those of you here in the congregation. And a very special welcome to anyone who's visiting today, whether it's online or in person. It's so great to see you all, so great to have this time together. And I want to give a little shout out. We have a special visitor today, Reverend Sarah Richards, who was ordained here in 2013 and is the minister at the Unitarian Fellowship in Carbondale, Illinois. Welcome home, Sarah. It's so good to see you. Many thanks to our volunteers here in the sanctuary today. We are so lucky to have you. Our tech team, we've got Kevin Terrell on the Zoom deck. Frank Lee is helping us out in the Zoom chat. Keith Perrin is behind the camera. And Rich Abreu is on sound. Thank you all so much. And another great extension of my gratitude to our folks who are greeting everyone at the great doors, ensuring that we gather safely in this time together. Queen Cheryl, Barbara Gindhart, and Rachel Corey, thank you so much. And Bill Briggs, who is our lead usher. Thank you, Bill Briggs. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to our musicians today. We have Cheng Cheng on piano and vocals. And we have our section leader, Daniel Rosenzweig. Daniel, we're so glad to have you. Thank you both for being here. Daniel rapid tested this morning so he can sing unmasked, and we've closed the first four pews up front to keep everyone safe. And a reminder to those in the sanctuary that we should be physically distancing from those who are not in your family or your pod. When your pew is full, please close your pew door so people who arrive after you know that it's full, even if it's just you. I have one more special thank you today. So our worship coordinator is Art Nava. He is jumping in. Unfortunately, our friend Dan Simpson is ill and couldn't join us. So Dan, we miss you, we love you, we hope you feel better soon. And thank you, Art. And finally, for those of you who are new to Arlington Street Church, a very special welcome to you. You can go to ascboston.org to sign up for Snapshot, our electronic newsletter, and you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time through the great doors, welcome home.
A very special welcome today to today's guest minister, Reverend Erica Rose Long. Erica first came to Arlington Street in 2013 as a field education student and worked with our children and families while studying at Harvard Divinity School. Since then, she has graduated, and in 2018, this congregation ordained her as a Unitarian Universalist minister. She works as a spiritual care provider at Massachusetts General Hospital, where she works primarily with families, patients, and staff in adult psychiatry, neurosurgery, and as a member of the comprehensive sickle cell disease team. We're very proud to count her as one of our affiliate ministers. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. For our guests here in the sanctuary, there are printed copies at the great doors. As we begin greetings, I invite Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with the device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from. And now, Keith is going to turn the camera on the incarnate congregation as we wave and smize at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
Welcome, everyone. If you're not familiar with the meditation on breathing, it has several different parts. You can follow me, you can follow Chang, you can follow Erica, you can pick your own part, whatever works for you. I invite you to close your eyes and meditate on this one. Breathe in, breathe out, 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 breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Last time. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
Our first candle is from Harriet Hury. This is a candle of healing and strengthening for Frank Lee, his father, Frank Sr., and Frank's mother, Yoon Yi, while Frank and his brother look for a supportive environment for their father. And a final candle of sorrow this morning from Rich Abreu. A candle of sorrow for my friend Ed and his family. Ed's 18-year-old nephew has terminal cancer and just withdrew from college, which he was hoping to start this fall.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
The next candle is from the Arlington Street community, a candle of joy and gratitude to John Anderson Miller and the Restoration Committee. They are having a summer of fun. After years of planning, there's a lot of restoration work being done by their dream team. Final candle of joy this morning is also from the Arlington Street community. Candle of joy for the beautiful summer weather. We're grateful for the gorgeous sunsets, striking full moon, and especially the mild temperatures this past week.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all of the sorrows and all of the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. And please rise as you're willing and able, and join in singing hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, y el corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla al volar, sube en la hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
I was heading home on a late night flight. The cabin was dark and quiet when suddenly a cry broke out, a baby's cry. I had seen the baby when I made my way to my seat, and I knew that this might happen. The baby was inconsolable. In my half-asleep state, I was surprised that I felt no annoyance towards the baby or his parents, as I might have expected and as I have in the past. Instead, I felt a type of kinship. I, too, was a baby once. All of us on the plane were once a crying baby. And then that feeling went deeper, and I noticed that somewhere inside my soul, there was a small, vulnerable part of me that was still crying out of powerlessness, of fear, and frustration. On that particular night, just a few weeks ago, as I flew back to our country and back to my home, my inner child was crying over the many most recent United States Supreme Court decisions. I still feel sadness and a disconnection from many other people in our country. I feel afraid that things are going to get worse. And in my lowest moments, there is that small, young part of me that is not only crying, but is saying, what is the point? Why keep fighting when we are losing? In the same way that each of us on that plane were once a crying baby ourselves, I know that every religious leader, activist, and ancestor that I admire has felt this feeling, the feeling that comes when what we know is just and right meets resistance. At times like this, I turn to my community, I turn to those of you who have felt these feelings. And rather than collapsing in despair, you face that resistance and keep pushing back. Our world is full of beings that see resistance, and rather than giving in, they innovate, persist, and come together to keep alive what is most important. The philosopher and civil rights legend Grace Lee Boggs said, "Most Americans have a very short-range idea of history. They don't realize that mass production only began about 100 years ago. They don't realize that capitalism has only existed for a few hundred years. They don't realize that there's been a huge evolution of culture and paradigm shifts in everything, in governance, in education, in work, down through the ages. And it's that lack of a long-range view that can make you think that when change happens, when you see ruins and disintegration, that it's the end of life." Grace goes on to say, "One of the things that I learned from my father is that a crisis is both a danger and an opportunity. And how you take advantage of the opportunity of the crisis, rather than becoming despairing, is something we're all facing all of the time, especially in this time. The opportunity that we have now to reimagine everything, to reimagine work, to think of it as productive, not just of things, but of well-being, to think of governance in a different way, to think of education in a different way. What an opportunity. What a time to be alive." Grace said these words in 2015 when she was 100 years old. A lot has happened since 2015, and yet not quite as much as all that happened in our country and in our world during the 100 years of Grace Lee Boggs' life. Now is not the time to give up. It's okay to hear that part of ourselves that is crying, that is asking for comfort. But we must also acknowledge that our sadness, our fear, our frustration, it's only going to get worse if we give up now. So today I thought I could share with you a couple stories that have been motivating me to keep going and to not give up on the causes that I care about most. I was on a boat in the Chagres River in Panama when I learned about the Azteca ants. Azteca ants have a symbiotic relationship with cecropia trees. The trees provide them with food and shelter, and in return, the ants protect the trees from insects and vines, other plants that might harm them. In 2020, during the beginning of the pandemic, a bored teenager named Alex accidentally hit a cecropia tree with his slingshot, making a hole in the trunk. The next day, when Alex came to see the tree, the hole was gone. Alex decided to make this an experiment, so he recruited a bunch of his friends, other teenagers, and they strategically drilled holes in the trees to see what was happening. They noticed that within 2.5 hours, the holes were significantly smaller, and within 24 hours, the holes were gone. The Azteca ants were not only protecting the trees, they were healing them. Their research showed that not every ant in the colony worked to fix the holes, but those that did were not deterred by all the new holes that kept appearing. With each new hole, they worked together to repair what had been broken and to protect what they loved. Like the Azteca ants, we can protect what we love, and we have the ability to repair what has been broken. In 2011, Hurricane Irene was a Category 3 storm that caused widespread damage and destruction in the Caribbean and all along the East Coast, leading to the deaths of 49 people and costing the US government approximately $13.5 billion. During Hurricane Irene, a group of scientists were concerned when they saw that a small migrating shorebird, a whimbrel that they had named Chinquapin, was flying directly into the eye of the storm, where gusts were 110 miles per hour. We were all walking around on pins and needles, hoping that the bird made it through, one of the scientists said. We had to wait a full 48 hours before the next set of data points came in. When 48 hours had passed, they were all a little shocked. Chinquapin, the little bird, had survived the storm and was alive and well in the Bahamas. With determination and grace, like Chinquapin, we can make it through the chaos of this moment. For over 100 years now, the American chestnut trees have been dying. The trees that used to live for up to 500 or 800 years now only live for 10 to 15 years. There used to be so many American chestnut trees that it was said a squirrel could make its way all the way up the East Coast, just hopping from one chestnut tree to another. In 1904, a forester in the Bronx Zoo noticed that the chestnut tree's leaves were turning brown and withering and falling to the ground. A fungus was killing the trees, and despite many efforts, there is still no cure. Susan Frankel wrote in her book, American Chestnut, the blight killed more than 3 and 4 billion trees, enough trees to fill 9 million acres of land, enough trees to cover Yellowstone National Park 1,800 times over, enough trees to give 2 to every person on the planet. We've been trying to figure out how to save the American chestnut tree from this blight for over 100 years. We're still trying. Blair and Mary Carbaugh are a couple in Danville, Pennsylvania, who are still trying. planting 1,000 trees on their land. Blair says that out of those that they've planted, only 12 have survived. But Blair and Mary are sticking with it. They're still planting trees. Blair is 91 years old, and Mary is 81. This is the story about people coming together, willing to try something that might not work, and if it does, it will take a long, long time, longer than most of us have. But the Carbaughs and others like them, they don't mind that. They still think it's worth a try. Sarah Fern Fitzgibbons is the Director of Restoration at the American Chestnut Society. She says that Blair and Mary Carbaugh are not the only ones who refuse to give up on the American chestnut. A lot of people that I work with, she says, are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, sometimes 90s. They're the ones who saw the species decline during the original pandemic, and they're really the ones who say, I am going to do this for my grandkids, I'm going to do this for my great-grandkids. This is a 100, 200, 300-plus year-long vision, and we have to keep passing on the hope and love of healthy forests. Some of the causes that we are fighting for today, they may be 100, 200, 300-year-long visions. We have to keep passing on the hope and love for a better future. Our ancestors did it for us. Let's carry their dream forward. I have one more story. Before the United States Supreme Court ruled on Roe v. Wade in 1973, it was almost impossible for many Americans to get abortion care. This led many people capable of pregnancy to seek whatever care they could find, often leading to serious complications and death. One coroner in 1951 estimated that in his career alone, 1,200 women died from back alley abortions. Women, especially poor women and women of color, were dying at alarming rates across the country without legal protection. Many people were too afraid to take action. And some people chose to take action anyway. Clergy from around the country, church ministers, including Unitarian Universalist ministers, along with rabbis and even some Catholic priests and nuns, created the Clergy Consultation Service. Led by Reverend Howard Moody of the Judson Memorial Church in New York, the leaders of the Clergy Consultation Service traveled around the country, meeting with religious leaders in church basements to educate them on how to join the cause and strategize within their communities. They quickly realized that they would also need to find a way to inform the public that clergy were available to support people seeking abortions. The group placed an ad in the New York Times with their phone number stating, "We believe it's our religious duty to give aid and assistance to all women with problem pregnancies." When someone called the hotline number, they would hear a recording that would inform them of the names and numbers of religious leaders in their area who would be available for consultation. Once a call was received, an in-person meeting would be arranged during which clergy would provide spiritual support, and if the woman chose to pursue an abortion, they would connect her with a safe clinic and plan her travel. Each site that the women were sent to were carefully vetted by members of the Clergy Consultation Service. These were often members of congregations who would pose as women seeking abortions to evaluate the care that was provided, not just evaluating the safety of the doctor's practices, but also evaluating if they would meet their patients with kindness, dignity, and respect. Many of these clergy had the support of their congregations, but there were some who did not, occasionally leading to the loss of their positions, and in some cases, the end of their formal congregational ministry. While there were many reasons to be afraid and discouraged, the clergy felt that the sheer number of phone calls that they were receiving every week from people seeking abortions, that showed how great the need was. Along with their counseling support, clergy use their pastoral power to advocate in hospitals, with lawmakers, and by writing to local newspapers. They consistently argue that the legislation restricting abortion access was discriminatory because of how it disproportionately impacted poor women and women of color. One minister in Missouri, William Kirby, estimates that he helped 3,000 women obtain safe abortions. In 1972, the year before Roe v. Wade was passed, there were more than 600 clergy consultation locations across the country. The clergy destroyed their records to protect the people they were serving, so it's hard to estimate the exact number of people who received their support. Today, the clergy consultation service persists. They are now called the Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice. They provide clinic blessings, education on reproductive ethics, and financial support to people seeking reproductive care. They did not give up. They will not give up. I know for people who are older than me, folks who are in my parents' generation, my grandparents' generation, the Supreme Court decisions impacting reproductive health, climate justice, religious freedom, indigenous sovereignty, this may feel unbearably discouraging and demoralizing for you at this moment. But we cannot give up now. Whatever causes make you cry, make you rage, these are the causes that you have to keep fighting for. So let us work, like the Azteca ants, to repair what has been broken in the foundation of our society. Let's remember little Chinquapin, the bird, and her resilience, and our own ability to navigate through virulent storms. Let's continue to plant seeds, hoping that perhaps one day they will survive and prosper. Let ours be the story that inspires future generations to never give up on what is just, what is right, and what is true. May it be so. Amen.
There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. How can I expect to win if I never try? I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy. you've brought me this far to leave me. Never said there wouldn't be trials, never said I wouldn't fall, never said that everything would go the way I want it to go. But when my back is against the wall, I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. Oh, I know you didn't bring me out here to leave me lonely, even when I can't see clearly. I know that you are with me, so I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Oh, nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe you've brought me this far to leave me.
Arlington Street is entirely self-supporting. It's up to us, and our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. When Reverend Erica was ordained here in October of 2018, Deb Ponce led the congregation in the act of ordination. Deb was the vice chair of the PRU, our governing board, and her children had worked closely with Erica as part of our children's religious education program. Once the act of ordination was completed, Reverend Erica proceeded down these steps behind me to this spot on the chancel, where her internship committee presented her with a beautiful stole embroidered with yellow wildflowers. Art Judge, who was a retired hospital chaplain and was a part of her committee, noted Reverend Erica's empathetic presence. And Judy Chambliss, Rick Cresta, and Richard Marshall carefully and lovingly placed the stole on Reverend Erica's robe. At that moment, and every moment since, she has been a minister who is here to bless the world. I am grateful that the congregation gives us so many opportunities to live into the words of our mission by finding ways to help each other with our spiritual growth, and also the growth in the ministerial formation of succeeding generations. I'm even more grateful for the leadership of Reverend Erica and her generation of colleagues who are here showing us the way through these times. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to me, Reverend Erica, or any of the ushers after the service. You can give online by scanning the QR code in the order of service or by going to ascboston.org. Or you can also text your gift to the church by sending a message with the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This summer, as always, we're directing our gifts to the Emergency Response Fund. Over the years, we've used this money to support survivors of local emergencies and to help in rescue and rebuilding efforts following natural and unnatural disasters nationally and around the world. Greater Boston, as well as New Orleans, Houston, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Thailand, Haiti, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and the Ukraine. Thank you for your generosity. There are weekly gatherings in the Zoom room for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. Every Wednesday, including throughout the summer, Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth host a tea party with a conversation prompt. It's a lot of fun. Information and Zoom room links are at aseboston.org. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join the virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes in the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. Reverend Erica and I will be out front. If you're here in person, please come say hello after virtual coffee hour. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all those who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together. Now, please rise in body and spirit as we sing our final hymn, hymn 1020 in the Teal hymnal, Wo Ya Ya.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. we know within. And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to reach out your hands and touch the sides of your Hollywood Square. And those of you here in the sanctuary, you may also raise your hands, palms out. Let us send loving kindness to the people on your left and your right, loving kindness to the people on either side of them. Send out this love and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to place your hands over your heart. In Namaste, I bow to the divine in you. Our benediction is from Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard and the path is never clear and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.